Hey, it's Karyn Bryant for MMA Heat. I'm speaking with Phil Davis, UFC light heavyweight, who'll be taking on Forrest Griffin at the end of the year. And Phil, thanks for talking with me. And I guess first and foremost, how the heck did this fight come together for you?
As soon as I got off the plane from Brazil, I had about 56 text messages.
Yeah.
And you know how it is. Whenever you get that many text messages, it's just like, let me just go through and see if it's anybody with important news. So you go through, get all the family first,
Right.
and then go back, get to all your coaches.
Yeah.
And by the time I got to my management, they were asking me to fight again. I was like, give me a break. Gee whiz.
But that's cool. Do you know, did they, when they found out, and we'll get into the whole Chael thing, but when they found out that there was an availability, was it your management who reached out to Joe, or did Joe call them?
I really have no idea.
Yeah.
All I know is it probably was Joe who reached out to my management. This is what I'm guessing.
And I guess the great thing is that fight in Brazil, you didn't take any damage really. So, it wasn't
Right.
like you had to have a layoff or anything, right?
Right. It's weird because I had a good long training camp for the first fight with Wagner.
Yeah.
Like a good 10, 12 week training camp. And for all that training to go down the drain so poorly the way it did, it was really disappointing. And then I really took a couple days off and went back into training camp because I didn't know when we were going to fight again, but I was sure it was going to be soon. So
Yeah.
another long training camp. Then I fought again, and it looks like I'm back at it.
Yeah. Well, and how do you feel about your performance in the fight? Obviously, like you said, the first time it was abbreviated. I think you guys only got about 2 minutes the first time. But how do you feel about how the fight went?
I'm satisfied with having a win, but I always the stuff that goes on in the gym is what I would love for the fans to see.
Yeah.
And there's so much more to me than what the fans get to see in such a short period of time. They get to see 15 minutes, 25 minutes of what I'm capable of, and it's just not truly accurate of my full skill set. But that's something I need to work on. But the better I get, the more you'll see in the actual cage.
So what do you mean we're missing, though? Are we missing more of your stand-up game? Are we missing, Showtime kicks and stuff like that?
I just mean that there's just so much. Yeah, I just have so much more to offer. Even from just wrestling and my stand up, my grappling. There's just so many more. Sometimes I get in positions in practice and I'm like, wow, if this happened in a fight, whoa, like
Right.
and I just wish that everyone got to see that. But that's why it's training, because you try stuff, and the more comfortable I get in fighting, in MMA in general, the more the fans will see.
Well, do you think Forrest is the kind of opponent that will bring out some of these other elements of your game?
He's definitely going to bring out a lot. He's a slugger, and he's durable, and you can hit him with your best shot, and he'll be there. So. Doesn't really make me too happy, because it means he's going to be standing there at the end of all my punches.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, now, do you think he beat Tito in that fight? Because it was very close.
I watched that fight, and I honestly always root for Forrest.
Yeah.
So I have to say I'm biased. I thought that fight was it was super close.
Mm-hmm.
That was super close. That was one of the closest fights I've seen this year. Was that a split decision?
I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't think it was unanimous. And I guess what it came down to, it seemed like Forrest won a lot of the counter-punching exchanges. And even though Tito had the takedowns, it seemed like almost every time they clashed, Forrest somehow came ahead at the very end of the clash.
Yep. It was, and I kind of read that he was. I thought he was ahead in the striking. Yeah. But you never know how judges will score a takedown. And as a wrestler, that's one thing I never count on. Just because I get a takedown, that does not mean I won that round. I don't count them, really. I just count overall shots and damage.
Right.
A takedown's good, but you just never know how they'll score it.
Mm-hmm. Well, so you just said something a minute ago where you said you always root for Forrest. And I know in the past you've told me you don't like to fight somebody that you don't like, because we don't want to see angry Phil. What was it? We don't want to see.
Yeah, you don't want to see spiteful Phil.
Spiteful Phil, right? So now, how do you approach this fight? If Forrest is somebody that you've admired for so long, how do you approach this then?
It's easier for me to fight someone that I like.
Yeah.
I think. There's that mutual respect. I don't think he'll take it easy on me, and I don't think he thinks I'll take it easy on him.
No.
So there's that mutual respect. I want to beat, I want to win, I want to get in there and perform. But we're going to get up and shake, and it'll be a mutual respect when we're done and before.
And he's perhaps nearing retirement. He's kind of mentioned it a little bit here and there, but not really. But I think if you look at his contemporaries, a lot of those guys are starting to sign off. So
with it, he's not really ready to do the whole deal. It's like, I sort of kind of would do it if I wasn't married, maybe.
Right.
One of those guys.
Right.
One of those deals. But he's got plenty of fight left in him.
Yeah. I think so. Well, you've been busy this year, even though the first Prado fight was abbreviated, but you fought H.E.A.T earlier this year. And, how do you feel about your own progression this year, what you've seen, what you felt, you did with H.E.A.T in terms of now what you're doing in your game and how much you feel like you've evolved this year?
Well, it's, I think I really wished I had been in tune with my body when I fought Rashad Evans. Not to say I wasn't really, but my game, when you get injured, your game changes a little bit. You'll never truly be able to move the way you used to, and it takes longer for you to really have a dynamite. Just to really feel your body through in every position. Right. And just, in some ways I'm a lot better and a lot more flexible, and in some ways I'm not, and it just takes a lot of time to really fill out your body in those ways. And now I feel like I've been able to do that, and I've been able to grow more as a fighter. And
was it, I forget, shoulder?
I had a knee injury.
Knee injury, the dreaded knee injury. Son of a gun. So now what do you make of the, obviously we have to ask, you're working your way up through 205 here, and all of a sudden this guy named Chael gets to jump the line and get a title fight, gets to do Ultimate Fighter and get a title fight with Jon Jones. So how do you feel about that?
It's sort of like the cool kids in the lunch line at school. You know what I mean? He just jumps to the front of the line. But not, there's no animosity. This sport is, that's the way it is. I wish him the best, personally, I think why not? If he got offered the fight, if he talked his way into it, well, as long as he's fighting for the title, congratulations to him. I'm sure he'll make it exciting for all the fans, and that's the bottom line. He'll make it exciting for the fans, and good for them. The fans win. The fans always win, and that's what it's about.
Do you think he's got the skill set to beat Jon?
That I don't know. I don't know how he's going to perform at 205. I don't know how he's going to perform. I know he's fought some fights at 205 in the past. But
he's a decently sized guy, so it's not like he's small. When he walks around, he's a pretty beefy guy, when he's not cutting down to 185. Right.
But see, my question is, I agree with you 100%. I look at Chael and I'm like, man, I wish I was your size. But
really?
Why is
coming from you with Phil, Mr. Wonderful, with your build, you're asking to be his size?
Yeah, but he's a good size dude. He's a nice slab of beef.
Yeah.
I don't know why he does cut down to 185.
Yeah.
Why does he do it? I don't know. I think he's always a great size guy.
Yeah. Good question. I don't know. Well, don't you guys like to cut down to be the bigger guy in the lighter class and that whole thing?
Absolutely. That's my whole deal. Yeah. I like to be the biggest, most fit guy in the weight class. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure he does too. Yeah. My point is it's just a question mark when you say you take the best guy. You go from fighting the best guy at 185 to the best guy at 205. How will he measure up immediately? I don't know. I mean, with time, Chael's a competitor just like anybody else. He'll perform and he'll get stronger, bigger, whatever he needs to do. But immediately, back to back, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see because on the big picture, everybody's talking about what would happen if Anderson and Jon met each other because who's better there. But you're right, Chael going from one to the other and having certain strengths against Anderson certainly, but then ultimately those not being enough does also make you think Jon's got even more length and more just not that he's a better fighter necessarily than Anderson because that argument we could go on for days, but.
Right.
You know what I mean? He just has
absolutely
a lot more tools as well. And tough question.
But I will say this: Chael is just a clever guy. It is extremely dangerous,
right?
And he's just rugged.
Well, in the mind game, that's the thing. When Jon fought Rampage, there was a bit of a back and forth with the mind thing, and I really do wonder because you can tell already that Chael is kind of getting under his skin a little bit, and by the time that show ends up taping and they get to the point where they're fighting, who knows what that mental game is going to be?
I wouldn't mind fighting Chael, but being on the show with him for what is it, 10 weeks? I don't know what long to film. I don't know if I could take it for that long.
Because he because we've gotten to work together at Fuel, and he's a machine.
He's a machine,
and you always want him on your team.
yeah, for sure.
For
sure you do.
Oh man, well, it's gonna be interesting. But so if you can get past Forrest, where do you think that puts you in the division? And where how far out do you think you'd be able to fight either with Chael or Jon or something along those lines? Who could be champ by the time you get there?
I really don't know. When people ask me this, I tell them, just as you've seen with Chael, I don't want to say there's no real solid ranking system,
right? Because
there kind of is, and there's a kind of pecking order, but a dominant performance is just that. It puts more eyes on you, and people want to see you fight.
Right.
So you never know. A dominant performance, and it could be much sooner than later.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think is more beatable, Chael or Jon, if they were champ?
If they were champ, who's more beatable, Chael or Jon? Well, you got to go to stats on that one.
Yeah.
You got to go to stats.
So I guess you're saying Jon is less beatable. Because no one's done it yet.
I mean, I don't know if I want to use the term less beatable.
Right.
I would say, statistically speaking,
yes.
Yes. Chael has significantly more losses than Jon does.
Right. But it'll be interesting. I would, I can understand why people want to see Chael as a champ because the reign of champ, Chael's reign as a champ could be spectacular in terms of the persona and the whole and all. It could be great. It could be great.
People haven't seen that since Mufasa.
Right.
This guy.
Well, now somebody else in your division that I know you train with, Alexander Gustafsson, he's fighting Shogun in December. Is he back in San Diego with you guys? Has he been training with you yet?
He what's today? Sunday. Yeah. He'll be here shortly.
Nice.
He will be here. If not tonight, then tomorrow. He's gearing up. He's ready to rock.
And so now that doesn't make it a little strange for you. You're in there working with somebody who you could potentially fight 2 fights from now, 1 fight from now.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, he, I wish him the best. I wish he goes in there and gets the title from whomever. But this is what we signed up for. I want to get the title. He wants to get the title, and we can help each other reach our goals.
Right.
And if there's a time when one of us is a champ and the other's the number one contender, then we'll do our thing again. But until then, we got a good thing going.
Good. Well, and when I saw Dominick not too long ago, I know he's Dominick even admitted that he's bugging out because he wants to train so badly. And, he even admitted, he said, look, I'm not great at, just being the guy that's helping coach people along. He said, it's not that my heart isn't there. He said, but I just want to fight so badly that he said he was just going nuts. Have you seen that?
Nah, let me just, Dominick's heart's not there.
It's not there. It's not, he really doesn't.
No.
I was trying to be,
he's entirely like, some people make way better coaches than they make competitors. Dominick is not that guy.
Right.
He makes a much better competitor at this stage.
Yeah.
Much better competitor than he does a coach. He always, when we're doing team practice, he always jumps in with something. But it's to him right now, it's frustrating. Yeah. To be able, even like showing moves and stuff, because he can't like show it full speed the way he wants to, and I know it just bugs him.
Right. Oh man. Well, I hope he gets able to. He said it's still going to be a little while though before he could train. So.
Yeah.
And he said he's not really into reading and crossword puzzles, so he said he's kind of bugging out.
No, he's keeping himself busy.
Yeah.
He's keeping himself busy, that's for sure.
Well, that's good. But yeah, I do look forward to seeing Chael and Jon coaching. I actually do think they'll make good coaches. I think that's going to be an interesting season.
Jon Jones is always talking with positive stuff.
Yep. So
I'm sure he'll make a good coach, and Chael, he can also be a great coach. I really do want to see his coaching style in this show. I'm
curious too. But somebody brought up something funny with Jon is that he might be coaching people, a few years older than he is because he's still just a young guy. So they were like,
everybody on his team is probably going to be older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be great, but I'm excited for you. The New Year's Eve show is always a big deal. You're on the big JDS Cain Velasquez fight. You got a winner in that one. Who are you picking there?
Man, I love them both.
Yeah,
I love them both. I'm gonna have to go with Cain though.
Really?
I'm gonna have to go with Cain. Only because, man, the fight is so close.
I know it really is.
The fight is so close. I can't even explain why, but I say, and again, it's scheduled for 5 rounds, and I don't see it going 5 rounds.
No.
I should almost just say that. I don't see it going 5 rounds.
No. Well, and he was so dominant against Bigfoot. I mean, he just came out and just crushed. But, the one thing with JDS, talking to Frank Mir after, and Frank said, he wasn't ready for JDS's footwork. He just was like not prepared at all for how fast and how tricky he was going to be.
Yeah. I mean, that happens.
Yeah.
It's one of those things like he got hit with such a good punch so early on, he really didn't get a chance to feel him out.
Right.
So to me, what that says is, in this next fight, no one's going to lead with the jab.
No.
You know what I mean? It's going to be all heat.
Right.
I mean, those guys think everything they throw is heat. I've trained with both of them. Everything they throw hurts.
Right.
They're going straight to their guns.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's going to be great. Well, congratulations on getting a great fight. I think you and Forrest is a real, when you're talking about a fight that's pleasing to the fans, I think this one will be for sure. So good luck. Don't get injured. Stay healthy in camp. The one thing is, though,
why would you say that?
I know.
Why would you say that?
I'm just saying. The other thing is,
goes through your mind. Don't get hurt. No.
I just, I don't. I know it makes me. I feel bad for you guys when that happens. I know how hard you work, and you can eat at Thanksgiving, right? Because it's far enough away that you can still eat at Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
Because I always feel bad for like Gustafsson. Those guys are going to be bumming out around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, luckily he doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving.
Oh, right, that's true. Stateside, I figured he might get drawn into it, but
I'll get down for him. Yeah, I'll show him, collard greens and that whole deal. Yeah, I'll school him in that.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, say hi to the family and thanks for taking some time on a Sunday.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Phil.
Yep.